Many songs can be played with the chords A, D, and E, but the idea of our lessons is to give you a wide range of music, chords, notes, so that you can mix them in different ways, because each song has a unique chord progression, usually, and they move in very different ways. So by learning different chords, we can piece them together in different ways and give you the ability to teach yourself a lot of songs using this idea. We learn the chords, we hear the song, and then we try to play it. Now we're going to learn 4 new chords this time. We're going to learn G, E minor, C, and A minor. So let's take a look at the G chord. Now to make the G chord, we take our first finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the A string. The 2nd finger is on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and the 3rd finger is down here on the 3rd fret of the high E string. You have to be careful not to touch the neighbor strings here. Okay, so arch your hand a little bit. Remember, you never grab like this or like this. Okay, 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. Let's try that, the G chord. We're still strumming down with our finger, okay? Yeah. One more time. 1, 2, 3. One string at a time. G. Let's look at the chord diagram of that. Okay, the G chord has the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and your 3rd finger all the way across on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And all the strings sound, and you just strum across. You have to be careful not to touch the neighbor's strings. Okay, let's play it again. 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. And not touching any neighbor's strings now. Here we go. Good. One string at a time. Good. Now let's learn our next chord, and that'll be E minor. So the E minor chord, we place our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret D string. And you see they don't fit together, just aligned parallel to the fret, so we have to adjust our finger a little bit. But if we press down well, it presses on the fret and makes the sound. Let's try E minor. Here we go. Once again, you have to be careful to not let your fingers inhibit the other strings. Okay, here we go. One string at a time. E minor. Let's look at the chord diagram. So the E minor chord has the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string and the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. Okay, let's try the E minor together. Here we go. Good. One string at a time. Yeah. Now sometimes we play E minor using our 2nd and our 3rd fingers on that 2nd fret where the other ones were. Now, it's sometimes easier to change to other chords using this way. We'll use both, but the way we've learned now is 1st and 2nd finger. But we could do it with the 2nd and 3rd finger, okay? E minor. In fact, many chords can be played with different fingers, depending on how easy it is to change to other chords, because everything is kind of relative on the guitar. Now let's learn another chord. It's called A minor. The A minor, we're going to put our 1st finger on the first fret of the B string. Our second finger across to the second fret of the D string, and our third finger on the second fret of the G string. Let's try that. Remember, first finger, second finger, third finger. Now this is a model that we used before for the E chord. If you move each finger over one string, boom, there's E. Move it back, A minor. That's A minor. Let's take a look at the chord diagram. Now the A minor chord does look a lot like the E chord, but just moved over. You see the first finger on the first fret of the B string, second finger, second fret, D string, and third finger, second fret, A string. You should be getting pretty good at reading these chord charts now, and it should be a really quick way to get a good theoretical look at the chord. So now let's try the A minor together. First finger, second finger, third finger. Here we go. Good. One string at a time. A minor. Now we just have one last chord to learn and we can move on. The next chord we're going to learn is the C chord. Now the C chord is made by putting your first finger on the first fret of the B string, second finger, second fret, D string, and your third finger on the third fret of the A string. Don't play the low E string, although it's part of the chord. That last 5 group of strings make the chord sound the best. But if you accidentally play the low E, it's not so bad, but be careful there. Let's try the C chord. Ready? Go. Good. Let's try it one string at a time, being real careful not to press against the neighbor strings or put our thumb up here. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go. Now your little finger might be naturally comfortable to be over the fretboard, but to show you, I try to keep it out of the way, okay? Yeah, the C chord. Now let's take a look at the chord diagram. Now the C chord looks a little bit like the A minor chord, with the exception of the third finger that's over there on the third fret of the A string. They are related and very closely. Now the X is to be careful of that low E string and try not to play it. If you play it accidentally, it's okay. Now let's try the C chord again. First finger, second finger, third finger. Strum it. Right. Now let's work on changing the chords just a little bit, okay? Here comes G. Go. Good. Now let's go to E minor. Now let's go to A minor. And then let's go to C. And once again, G. E minor. Then let's go to C this time. Then A minor. Good. Now let's go to D one time. Then let's go to G. And then to A. And then back to D. Good. You have to practice changing the chords on your own. You've got the idea now. We need to go a few beats, 4 beats, 8 beats, of one chord and then to another. Just take your time and practice moving these chords around. Because we're going to be learning more songs, and almost each of the songs have unique chord progressions. Now memorize these chords this week, all these chords. Make sure you can make your changes really smoothly from chord to chord. Really get it nice. We're going to use these chords a lot in the future, so go through all our chords and don't forget your 2 songs. Make sure you practice them this week too. But go over these chords. This is the focus of our lesson, and now you know how to practice chords.